Hi, and welcome to the prophecies of the moment of the grey men fulfill. In this episode, we will see how the global and national situation fulfills Propechies' prophecies of the end times, where the grey man appears. First, we will look at the fulfilled predictions and prophecies of the New World Wars. Second, we will see how the new government fulfills the prophecies of the Zionist serpent. And third, we will have a preview of the grey man's instant predicted. As usual, there is too much information to cover, so I'll provide a brief summary to wrap up 2023 and start 2024. It will be concise and organized, without delving much into details, because this instant has infinite trail, and we can explore everything in more detail later. Let's begin. First, let's start with a summary of how, just like every year, all predictions and projections are coming true. To begin, globally, the predictions of war became true, which started with the announcement in 2020, the great explosion with the red circle in the Middle East, the military groups deployed in Russia leading to war, and the current crisis in Israel, with people expectating the apocalypse. And the global social unity against the synagogue of Satan had also been fulfilled, exactly as projected in the superastral projection. You think it's a coincidence that for the projection I used the picture of the flag monument and the new puppet goes to that place and wave that flag? Soon after, creation itself started to attack that flag. It's pretty clear, guys. What is more, recently, in Argentina, the picture I projected of the Zionists manipulating strings behind the curtain became true during the presidential inauguration. This illustrates that even behind the controllers, there is something superior. It is true that many have noticed that the new president working for Israel is referred to as a prophet due to the pictures of apocalyptic trumpets before everything exploded. However, most are unaware that, like many others I've shown and others yet to be revealed, he has also fulfilled my pictures, such as the same rabbinic trumpets of the apocalypse with the same sound I used much earlier, with people spectating the apocalypse. The eyes of fire and the roar. He also repeated my fire lion and the man inside the golden ring. I actually used the picture of the biblical lion first, but he used it as a Zionist king. I used it with a Christian meaning. He even copied my picture from The Simpsons. I filmed my picture of the biblical king when he assumed office, with the rabbi calling him Solomon. He repeated the personalized dollar and the personalized constitution dollar, and precisely after I predicted it for 2023, the process of the dollarization began. However, these fulfillments are details that require a true explanation, as they are part of something much larger, similar to how the meditation of the monument and the world fulfill my film. His black armor also fulfills my scene of the Angel of Darkness over Argentina. All of this, along with the crusade and the painting fulfilled at the monument, just like the previous clown government, the cry of enough and more, fulfills Propechies' prophecies of the reign of Zion in Argentina, destined to be destroyed at the end of time with the arrival of the grey men. Now, Propechies' prophecies are extensive, so let's provide a super summary. Propechies, known as the prophet of the apocalypse, was a painter who depicted future events with accompanying text. He predicted that during the First and Second World Wars, the Zionist snake would reign, leading the world to a great revolution and a final war. Everything that happened in the First and Second World War would repeat one last time. But now the serpent is defeated. This would happen with North America suffered a double attack, and Argentina experienced a revolution that would overthrow the government, activated in 2001. He also mentioned that this was a small storm with a larger one to climax worldwide at the end, as is being fulfilled now. He predicted 3 wars at the end of time, and 2 have already begun with Russia and Israel, exactly as I foretold. Only China is yet to come, which, as I said, was coming after Israel. He stated that Zion would invade Argentina, a plan in progress since World War I and now evident with the new government, the Israeli army on the territory, and control over the waters. Imagine if they bring here what they are doing in the Middle East. And where the rabbis say that the massacre of children is a blessing and all those who oppose are terrorists. Most ignore it, but the nationalist religion believes that they are God on earth and the rest are subhumans created to serve and worship them, even if they want to abuse and eliminate them. This is even admitted by the rabbis and civilians. To make it clear, I placed the pictures of the wars without people to not project death. That is, those who made the war could have chosen to detonate empty buildings, but instead chose evil. Well, the prophecy suggests that they want to divide the country in left-right war, leading to a bloody revolution. However, before that explodes, there is an ignored moment revealed later, which stops the blood in the streets and eventually makes a turning point. He calls this moment the instant of the grey man. This year, as in all campaigns, the media starts saying that all their candidates are the famous grey men from Propechies' prophecies, even in football. They say the same about the recently elected president, but the truth is the only thing connecting him is a photo imitating one of the prophecies, a photo that anyone could replicate and not even the one of the grey man, but rather the one of the young men protesting in the Argentine test. What he really fulfills is the prophecy of the Zionist snake in Argentina, expressing loyalty to the state of the Zionist religion, and to make it clear, he exaggeratedly surrounded himself with all their symbols, rabbis, the menorah, the Hanukkah, verses from the Old Testament, etc. So his government literally represents part of the evil that the grey man inevitably eradicates by the mandate and superior force of the Father of Fathers. For instance, I recently showed that, like other events, his armor mimics the Angel of Darkness from my Fulfilled series, but no one knows that his superhero suit is based on the Kabbalistic tree of Zionism. At the top, you can see the mask of the Angel of Keter, the crown of the Infinite Nothingness, the King of the Abyss. You can see that the armor has the same shape and colors and even the eclipse in the middle. Clear that he even copied the same face through the campaign. Therefore, the new government is just another puppet of the Zionist snake fulfilling the prophecies. I wonder if he knows this. And this is revealed clearly when his mask face fails live to show who pulls his strings beyond the physical plane. Moreover, not only did he fulfill my picture of the biblical king when his rabbi compared him to Solomon, but he also recited the famous verse of wisdom. Unbeknownst to many, this is the answer to the infamous identity of the false messiah or false king, as the Apocalypse states that with wisdom, one can identify the Antichrist because his number is 666, and the only reference to this number is that Solomon received 666 talents of gold. So the new government is simply another Antichrist working for gold, and precisely after faking rebellion, it fulfills the prophecies that there is no real revolution but an eternal return to gold. Unfortunately for them, in the prophecies, gold falls very soon. I wonder if he knows this. To illustrate this, I am going to make a little magic trick. I will make the dollar disappear. As I recently showed, it fulfilled my picture of the personalized dollar. The dollar not only featured the famous Illuminati pyramid with the star of the Synagogue of Satan surrounded by the Zionist snake in its great seal, but it is also known to form the prophetic picture of the destruction of the towers, and the bird forms the demonic face of the Kabbalah angel of the abyss, behind the government mask as we saw. It is known it also has a hidden owl, just like the infamous occult club, which as I showed is a reflection of Vox Hell, and the representation of the Kabbalah Dark Angel. However, what no one knows is that the pyramids, the eye, the flames, the star of the night, and the bird are also from Vox Apocalypse. You can clearly see that the pyramid with the eclipse surrounded by flames, the central face looking at us from an egg, and the bird with the body covered and eating something. So the dollar is the Apocalypse portrait. In Kabbalah, 11 is K, which is key, like the key to the Apocalypse. The pyramid of the Great Seal is also the eye of a keyhole, and the bird also forms keys. The pyramid of the Great Seal is the keyhole. In other words, it is a great seal to be opened. The key and the lock are the same in shape, only one empty and the other full. One contains the other, meaning that with this revelation, I literally open the Great Seal of the Apocalypse. So to open it, we unite everything and we can see the Angel of Darkness revealed over fire and surrounded by the dragon serpent. Well, that's the one behind the presidents and the dollar. After this, whenever you look at this bill, you won't be able to see the dollar because what it really is will remain forever revealed. A portrait of hell. And every time I reveal something, it brings endless waves. So from now on and forever, the dollar will disappear. This doesn't mean that the digital government currencies will succeed, because with this, everything related to gold collapses. The open Great Seal also completes Paravicini's prophecy of the Magna Order, which topples the Serpent's Pyramid. In other words, the dollar is the world currency and is the painting of hell, meaning that the entire world has been placed inside the painting of the apocalypse. It has been hidden and veiled until this precise moment when I reveal it. Who holds the keys to the apocalypse and is worthy of opening the seals of the end times? Perfect. Before concluding, let's see how the government fulfills the prophetic paintings. I have previously shown that Bosch's Apocalypse inspired the painting used in the projections and later fulfilled at the monument. What is more, this painting is part of the triptych set that the inauguration has just fulfilled. It is clear that the coronation mimics the painting, with the woman in red with dark hair on the left in the same pose, the man holding the staff on the right with the street crossing his chest. She poses like a mad woman and he poses like a madman, and both were called crazy people, especially in a performance with a ballad for a madman that ends with crazy her, crazy me. This was a picture I said was coming. This fulfilled painting is a foreshadowing of what is coming, as I announced, because Paravicini's prophecy says that in the end we transition from the clown government to collective madness. So if in 2020 I predicted the circus world, and it happened, now, as I said, it is coming the madhouse world. So we have a so-called madman with the omnibus law, which means for everyone. In other words, it brings the prophecy of mass madness. I told you was coming, and there are already many denouncing why. In fact, when they both unite during the inauguration, they touch the staff with 5 supposedly cloned dogs engraved. This reflects the Kabbalistic dog star, the black star of the god of resurrection in the underworld, meaning the god of the dead is the one pulling the strings of false kings. In the inauguration, where he is called the lion in reference to the Messiah, he mimics the pose and aligns with the sacrificed one. Therefore, in the fulfilled painting, we see the destiny reserved for him by his masters from the synagogue of Satan as a false Messiah, to be sacrificed as a scapegoat. The painting of the false Messiah is an imitation of the prophecy of the Argentinian Revolution, where the instant of the Grey Man will be seen, and in the inauguration between the columns, it even begins to align itself with the Paravicini's prophecy of the execution in Plaza de Mayo. His terms has already begun, with guards attacked and injured, repeating the 2001 crisis, but it's coming worse, exactly as I predicted it would happen. This fulfills the prophecy of humanity as a puppet of the end of time. I reveal the strings for everyone to see clearly. We can see the paintings copying the Kabbalistic temple and the government copying the paintings as if they were painted from beyond by the angel of the Kabbalistic tree. What the... is that an inverted cross? Maybe. No, if they are satanic robots, I tell you. We see the prophecies copied by the mural and fulfilled by the government, making way for the one who comes. I think many fulfill what I project without knowing, and some must see what I do and copy it to fulfill the prophecies, because they must be tired of the infinite hellish repetition. Not long ago, I mentioned that we're coming the fulfillment of the prophecy of the revolution and the last Argentinian brushstroke. And here we are. In the last government, I warned them that the helicopter escape would be repeated. Despite their attempts to conceal it, it happened. But that was nothing compared to what they are about to fulfill now. Even the chainsaw, referencing the madman with a mask, aligns with the prophecy of the Argentina being torn apart before the revolution. He is playing the role of what the prophecy calls the hypocritical mask of the false rebellion, just like the previous government. I told you, it is the revenge of 2001. The world is about to repeat everything, but this time it won't be free to the upper class, just like the frozen jets of the private elite, or the armies invaded by UFOs. I would advise them to repent, but well, it seems they don't understand. To conclude with this puppet government, let's see what else is copied from me to make it clear that it's part of the instant of the Grey Man. But it's not him. He's playing the opposite side. Not only did he copy the black armor from the villain in my Grey Man episode, but also during his campaign in the pandemic, his stole theme was Panic Show. Well, in my Grey Man's episode, I say the Panic Project was happening with the pandemic of that moment. Moreover, he called himself the Lion using the eclipse, when my first prediction was of an eclipse in Leo, and all his poses were part of my picture. To make it clear, my projections are aligned with the source, and the fulfillments afterward are the reflection. But there is more that he copied from my series, which was based on the superhero story. In the original, which was all humor, not meant to project reality at that time, a big head in armor defeated the then ruler with a weapon. The new one duplicates that too, and in a presidential opening gala, the main one flies, and saying is crazy, talks to his dog, just like they say the new government does. They also say that the sister is a medium, and in my series, my sister made spiritual communications. But a big difference is that he says he only preaches what his sister tells him. In my case, it was the other way around. My sister acted out my script, like he's doing. He plays the opposite so much that he not only copies everything like a reflection, but when they censored me daily in the first videos of compilations of Doctors for the Truth, he was on TV defending the lockdown. And when I stood in the middle of the chaos without a mask, not knowing what would happen to me, he campaigned for freedom wearing the mask that everyone already knew the truth about. In fact, when I make this video, here in Argentina, they make the meme of the blindfold, referring to prophecy trying to forge being fulfilled by the new government, which precisely is the prophecy that I said was about to be fulfilled. In fact, the pictures they use for the meme are the same as those in the fulfilled painting, the camera and the eye looking at the camera. Actually, neither of the two parties sees it. What they don't see? The fulfilled prophecies. Excellent, now let's finish this episode with a fast summary of the Grey Man's instant fulfilled. This abundance of information extending almost to infinity containing a few pictures is a minimal example of what the moment of the Grey Man truly holds. It connects with so many things that it becomes a moment that will turn into an era. Everything mentioned before was to ensure that an imitation is not confused with the real thing. In fact, a significant part of all the prophetic, biblical, and God-invoking imagery his use was to train people to dismiss the real thing because of its association with the false prophet or false king. For example, to give you an idea of how far-reaching this is, The Economist used for the cover of 2024 the same television scene and picture I used in my Grey Man episode, and they even added the grey in the middle. It is not the first time they've done this. In that picture, I used my date 24/3, so with this I can say that on 24/3/24, the era of the Grey Man begins. The prophecy clearly states that the moment of the Grey Man stops blood in the streets because, if not, what becomes true are the other prophecies of Don Orione, where the revolution is truly French style, followed by a return to the chase for gold. However, the moment of the Grey Man is different, opening a door to change. It is the moment of the nation's choice. The moment will prevail, and those who see it with it. In other words, you are about to fulfill this, people. I would advise you to choose the Grey Man and not Don Orione. So finally, this is the summary, leaving the details for later, of Parravicini's prophecies of the moment of the Grey Man and a glimpse of what it entrails. There are many assumptions about the moment of the Grey Man, but Parravicini makes it clear when he relates it to other prophecies using the word grey. The prophecies are not meant to be understood separately and interpreted as one pleases. They speak of an apocalypse and the new humanity, in a story with beginning, middle, and end, and it clarifies it with the hour 10, the beginning of the apocalypse, hour 11, the middle of the apocalypse, and hour 12, the end of the apocalypse. Basically, it states that the moment of choice is the grey man's instant, and this man of the instant is the new man, with a biological change given by called the Christic brain cell. This allows him to project spiritual light and literally paint reality. That is why it is associated with a grey hour. When the Peace Crusades occurs, and Grey Painter gives the last brushstroke of Argentina. So it is not simply a political leader with nothing supernatural, as many want to believe. Instead, it represents a group of marked by a supernatural guide, signifying the return of Christ expressed through what he calls the Christic cell. This new type of human is referred to as the superastral man, or like I call it, superastral, described as part of the return of Christ. Those without this Christic cell won't withstand the apocalypse. It stands absolutely in contrast to the sorcery of the synagogue of Satan and the false government. In the monument, my episode of the crusade marking the grey hour was fulfilled, and the projected painting marking the grey painter was also fulfilled. So, that is the moment of the grey man. In the next episode, we'll see how events surrounding that moment fulfill Propechies' prophecies and the architecture of the monument as well. In the moment I appear, my pictures become real, and the prophecy of the instant referencing the city of Rosario is fulfilled, along with Propechies' painting of the Grey Man. Even that moment fulfills the scenes from my episodes of the Grey Man. It's as if the Grey Man with the Christic cell is the painter with the brush inside the living painting, or the director with the projector inside the world movie. This is a glimpse of the future of an instant turning into an era. Now, if this is a living motion picture fulfilling apocalyptic prophecies, it will be called Christ Part 2, The Revenge. I understand it's hard to believe, but I hope it works, because Terminator is about to become true, and I was the only one who warned that AI with infinite pictures would become real in 2021. No one else saw that coming, guys. So, a quick preview of another fulfilled projection about Argentina as the future of humanity. In 2019, I mentioned that a Back to the Future was coming, and shortly after, an Argentinian invented a garbage-powered car, like in the movie. To make it clear that it was part of somewhat what I projected, he admits that it was dead for years and suddenly worked miraculously only after I projected it. He even looks like the Doc in the movie, like the paintings of prophecies that were dormant until I projected them and then came to life. There is obviously a higher intermediary ensuring that what I project comes true. Who that is? Well, I leave that to your judgment, but if the guy from Back to the Future coming true has an idea, which now is part of the instant of the Grey Man. By the way, the painting of the Grey Man is the Christic cell of the angel star of the apocalypse, with the change and the key that imprisons the serpent forever. It is also the monument and the biblical throne. We end with a projection to eliminate the snake from the tree of death, so that the angel of the abyss returns from where he came, the infinite nothingness. We illuminate the shadow and it disappears. The monument, heavenly port. For those who follow me, you know that besides warning about world apocalyptic disaster, I also continue to project many positive things, but most still choose the same circus as always. So this time, choose wisely and don't be deceived by the snake. So instead of Happy New Year, I say Happy Grey Man's instant fulfill. And now we will say I am Superastral. I am the Grey Man.